Hi there, Christoph here. The Sending Bitcoin page in the payment section just received an update, and I would like to take 5 minutes here and just quickly go over what's new and what's in there. So at the top, you still see this lovely illustration by Stephen. And then we go in and we start looking at payment entry points. So before, the previous version of this page was actually all about on-chain, and now we also introduce Lightning. And those two networks can have very different payment mechanisms or the way transactions work. So it's gotten a bit more complex here. So if we look at payment entry points, which is just the initial starting point for a payment, there are a few different ones here. One of the most common ones is that, I'm in my application, I type in I click pay, I type in an amount, I type in an address, and off we go, which is not ideal because addresses are usually just super complex. So this is kind of the fallback option here. An easier option is we have a contact. So I have a contact book. I just click somebody's face or name here, type an amount, and off we go. Alternatively, there might be a website that has payment information that you copy paste. For some reason, they don't provide clickable links, but you copy paste information. Maybe they have clickable links, so I press donate, my app opens, person sends me an invoice, I say pay, it's off. Or I might, in the real world, I might see, for example, a QR code that I want to scan. So those are kind of the entry points, is how this information about this payment gets into my device in the first place. And so once this information enters the phone or the device, it can be different types of information, right? If you just copy an address, like in a Lightning address or an on-chain address, it might not know what to do with this. And then it has to give you the option: do you want to send to this address? Do you want to request something, create an invoice, or do you want to add it to your contacts? It could say, hey, you're requested to make a payment, but there's no amount given. And it could be on Lightning, could be on-chain. It might come with all kinds of information, like an image here or a description. And sometimes an invoice that you scan could even offer you to withdraw Bitcoin or sats from a specific address using LNURL withdraw. Or it could be expired, or your device could not support it. So there are all kinds of different entry points and all kinds of different amounts of information that have to be considered here when designing this type of user flow. And there's a subpage here called Payment Request Formats, and that provides a quick overview of all the different formats that are either already maturing, or really kind of in a spec format. There are all kinds of different ones as Lightning Network evolves. And that is the reason why you might also get such different types of information here in this presentation of an invoice or a payment request. This manual payment initiation, this is the absolute base case. You go into your app, you type in an amount, you type in an address, you review it, you press pay. So there's no help, no copy pasting, nothing else. But applications, of course, should support that too. Some explanation about all these different fields. Here's a little bit of information about fees. So you could pay on-chain fees, you could pay Lightning fees, which are just way lower, of course. And if your application also has Lightning services, they might also charge you a bit of an extra fee for these additional services they provide to provide you with liquidity, automatically open channels, and these types of things. And that's kind of good for users to know and understand why there are charged certain fees for different payments. And an example of fee selection, what that could look like. This one's for on-chain here. This is nothing new. This was already here before. It's always good to give users the option to review and approve a payment before they accept it. Then we go into transaction processing. So once I press that pay button or send button, ideally with Lightning, it could be extremely fast within a split second. It could be sent and approved and take you to the success message. But it could also take longer. For example, if the other device is not currently online, or if you're doing an on-chain transaction, in which case it might take 10 minutes or so. So the question is here, what do you Do you force people to be on here? Do you make them wait? Do you present them as just a loader? I would say no. It's better if, let's say, the transaction is sending, I can add a note, I can add tags, I can add this person to my contacts, that there's something useful that I can do during this time, or I can click out of this and I can go back into my transaction list and then see the status of current transactions. I believe there are some fringe cases where you kind of want to tell people, like, please don't leave the app right now. You want them, kind of keep them here. But otherwise, if it's possible, like, don't make people wait and look at a loader. And then once it's done, you want to make that extremely clear to users. And you also want to offer an option for them to prove that a payment was made. So there could be all kinds of situations, and for both on-chain and Lightning, there are different mechanisms that can be done. So you want to find a way that you can share a receipt with whoever you're paying. Good amount of times there could be errors. This page does not go into tons of specific errors, but it provides just an approach how to deal with errors. Make sure to explain what went wrong. Make sure to ensure to confirm to users, let them know that their funds are safe, that there's nothing to worry about. Ideally, provide them with options of how they can fix this or avoid this problem, other things that they can do. Even if it means, if you can't provide a specific solution, ideally sometimes you just press retry, or there's some other things that can be done. But even if you can't help them right now, give them some tips, send them to a Telegram channel, allow them to quickly copy paste the error message or so. Make sure that you do what you can to help people deal with problems, because the worst thing you want is people not trusting an application because something went wrong. And then there are a few additional options. Coin selection here, which was more important on-chain, is now a little bit of secondary. And then there are Lightning routing options, which is also kind of a small thing that's being discussed at the moment. So that is it. Hope it was interesting and a good overview, and this page is useful to you. Thanks.